Hello everyone, welcome back to Magnifico Recaps. Today we will narrate a sci-fi action movie called Valerian and the City of Thousand Planets. Spoilers ahead, so proceed with care. Let's begin. In the 28th century, humans have finally conquered space. One by one, each country sends its astronomers to the International Space Station. Soon, to their surprise, they come across other extraterrestrial populations. An agreement with these species has allowed the International Space Station to expand until it becomes a threat to Earth's gravitational force. The International Space Station is released from Earth's gravitational pull to deep space, where it's now called Alpha. Alpha is a space-traveling city that's inhabited by different species from different planets. A force called the United Human Federation is formed to preserve peace in the galaxy. The movie opens up on the planet Mule, where Princess Mina wakes up. They're a planet of pearls. There's a planet that humans or any other extraterrestrial species are unaware of. People on the Mule live in harmony with the elements. They fish for the pearls that possess phenomenal energy. These fertilize their lands and keep winds and tides under control. And 3 times a year, they give the pearls back to the planet. Princess Mina walks out of her house. She sees a mule converter in her room. She takes it with her. On the beach, she sees people collecting pearls. She greets them and walks away. After collecting the pearls, the people take them to Emperor HABAN LIMA. His wife takes one of the pearls and asks to deliver it to her daughter. When Princess Mina gets it, she takes her mule converter with her and gives the pearl back to the planet. It is just then she notices something falling out of the sky. Everybody panics. People call the Emperor HABAN LIMA. He and others go to check on the extraterrestrial object, a spaceship. They entered inside. Meanwhile, Princess Mina runs to her parents' house to see how her parents are doing. She arrives after they have left. Things continue to fall from the sky, and finally, a big object remaining of a spacecraft continues to fall down. Some of the people accompanying Emperor HABAN LIMA close the door of the spaceship and lock themselves in. The lock breaks off. It is then they see Princess Mina outside. As her helpless parents and others look at the door, Princess Mina gets killed from the shockwave of the falling of a huge spacecraft. As she dies, she releases her energy in the form of a wave. Like everyone on the planet Mule, to the universe, and Valerian was preparing for a mission gets it. Shaken by this, Major Valerian awakes. His partner Sergeant Laureline comes to him. She asks if he wants to run through their assignments once more, and he objects. They get the warning that the mission is about to begin and both enter their spaceplane. Major Valerian asks the AI Alex to analyze his brain to see what happened earlier, and Alex reveals that Valerian has received external waves that don't come from his memory. It comes from someone outside, and someone is sending him images. Alex also reveals that he doesn't know from where the wave originated or where it comes from. It can be from the present or past and anywhere from the universe. Laureline and Valerian meet the defense minister, who explains the mission. The mission is to recover a converter and bring it back to Alpha for a top-secret operation. The converter is the last of its species, and it's important to finish the mission. The converter is in the hands of a black market dealer named Egon Cirrus. Minister informs them that Captain Gibson will render them more details. They arrive on planet Kyrian, where Captain Gibson and his team are already waiting for them. En route to the market, Captain Gibson explains the mission to Valerian and Laureline. Valerian will enter the big market in planet Kyrian and find the store. He then teams up with Sergeant Cooper. Laureline, meanwhile, will arrive 20 minutes later, and they will have to complete the transfer in 10 seconds. The vehicle stops in front of the big market, where Valerian gets down. Before they leave, he asks Laureline to marry him, and she rejects the proposal. Inside the marketplace, Valerian travels to another dimension and enters Egon Cirrus' shop. He disrupts a meeting between Egon and 2 hooded people that resemble the people from planet Mule. He then gets the converter. It's a mule converter. Lorene arrives in time, does the swap, and leaves. Valerian, before leaving, steals the energy pearl that the inhabitants of planet Mule were about to present to Egon. As he leaves, a fight begins and he narrowly escapes Egon and his troops. In the ship, Valerian learns that the pearl came from the planet Mule, which was destroyed 30 years ago. When he tries to find more about the planet, he finds that the information about it is classified. They're instructed to return to Alpha. As they're returning, Alex tells them about Alpha, the city of 1,000 planets. Since Alpha left the terrestrial orbit, it has traveled over 700 million miles and continues to grow. It has a population of almost 30 million among 3,236 species, sharing their knowledge and culture. Over 5,000 languages are spoken there, and this doesn't include computer languages. To the south is a submerged part where 800 species live in all kinds of liquids, including the BOULAN farmers who cultivate cobalt. The north is a gaseous land and is dominated by Azinmo, whose sensitivity makes them specialists in neurosciences and molecular components. They're specialists in building all kinds of cells. Living to their east is the colony of omelids, who are specialists in information technology, banking, and finances. And in the west are 9 million humans and compatible species. Laureline and Valerian arrive. They're welcomed by General Octobar. General Octobar reveals that a year back, they found a radioactive zone in Alpha 1 and it continues to grow. Several troops have been sent there to deal with the threat, but nobody has returned. Now the air in the area is unbreathable and highly contaminated. The talk is disrupted by the arrival of Commander Arun Fillet. Once again, the minister calls. He appoints Valerian and Laureline as personal protectors of Arun Fillet. Arun Fillet rejects the proposal, declaring that he has a highly trained Katron unit on his side, but his plea is unheard. Arun Fillet arrives in a secret lab where he has kept an inhabitant of Planet Mule captive. He has a team interrogating the inhabitant. Arun Fillet gives them 1 more hour to get an answer from the inhabitant. If not, he orders to kill the inhabitant. Valerian and Laureline arrive in Commander Arun Fillet's office. They prepare to go to the Security Council. Arun Fillet asks Laureline to hand over the mule converter, which is the key if negotiation should happen, as the mule converter can reproduce anything in record time. But she refuses and keeps the mule converter. The meeting is obstructed by unidentified humanoids. They incaptivate everyone and kidnap Arun Fillet. Valerian tries to stop the kidnappers from entering the radioactive zone, but he fails. Laureline wants to go look for him but is stopped by General Octobar, who asks 2 soldiers to restrain her. Laureline knocks them out and escapes. She then threatens 3 alien information brokers known as Dogan Daguis and asks their help to track Valerian. She goes through several troubles and finds him unconscious at the edge of the radioactive zone. She wakes him up. As she's looking at the fascinated creatures around them, she's kidnapped by BOULAN BATHORS of the planet Guara, a primitive tribe. They present her to their emperor for dinner. Valerian goes looking for her but has to stop at the entrance of BOULAN BATHORS' castle. He then infiltrates them with the help of a shape-shifting bubble, which assumes the shape of BOULAN BATHORS and enters the fort. There, they kill the emperor of BOULAN BATHORS and rescue Laureline. But during the battle, Bubble gets fatally injured. Valerian realizes that the radioactive zone is actually not dangerous and someone has been lying to them. They reach a large shielded wall in the zone. The inhabitants of Planet Mule, Pearls, come out from the wall and ask them to join inside. They enter inside, where they find an unconscious Arun Fillet. Emperor HABAN Limar explains how they were living peacefully on their home planet and how the space battle destroyed their life. Arun Fillet is the commander of the Federation forces. He uses the fusion missiles to destroy the enemy lines. The bomb sends the enemy's mothership into Planet Mule, killing 6 million of its inhabitants, including Princess Leomina. The Emperor's wife tells Valerian that his daughter has transferred her soul into his body. Those who survived the crash and burn were the ones that were trapped in the spaceship from the battle. Since then, they learned to repair it and mastered human technology. They then took a disguise and arrived at Alpha, where they spent time gaining knowledge and then managed to build a spaceship of their own. They now just want a converter and a pearl to launch their ship and recreate their home planet. Valerian and Laureline hand it over to them. Arun Fillet is woken up and he admits everything Emperor HABAN Limar accused him of. But he said that he only did that as it was necessary to win the war. He wanted to cover up the crime because he felt that not doing so will force humans out of Alpha and their credibility. Valerian and Laureline do not agree with him and argue that the commander's actions are to avoid the consequences of what he did. Fillet becomes mad and Valerian knocks him out. Meanwhile, on the outside, the army sent by General Octobar and Fillet's Katron robot soldiers are ready to attack the shield. They engage a bomb, but before it goes off, Valerian contacts the general, who is now in charge. The general stops the bomb. Pearls prepare for the takeoff, but before they can, Fillet's Katron robot army begins to attack Pearls and the government soldiers. Valerian joins the fight and defeats them. Katron tries to reactivate the bomb, but Sergeant Neza stops it at the last second. Pearls take off. Fillet, who is left behind, is arrested. In the last scene, we see Valerian and Laureline are left behind drifting in space in an Apollo Command Service module. Valerian once again asks her to marry him, to which she responds with, "Maybe."